This is why you can't get a business loan up to 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, whatever it is, by leveraging your credit, cash flow, or collateral, or all three of them. And perhaps there's something that you just can't put your finger on it, but you need somebody to help you, like an expert business loan broker, and to be there by your side every step of the way, so you finally know how to turn this thing around and put that vehicle that's been sitting in that garage unused, needs the repairs, and to get the motor going, get some gas in it, put it out, and get you moving forward. Hi, this is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. Like I said, I'm an expert business loan broker, and I help out a lot of business owners continue to build, grow, expand, and even get out of a tight pinch through business loans, term loans, lines of credit, bank loans like SBA loans, a few other ways like business credit cards, personal credit cards. You have personal credit repair, establishing business credit, a lot more. I also have a background in digital marketing. I have a digital marketing agency, as well as a few affiliate marketing businesses and another few amount of ventures. So no further introduction. What are you not seeing that I am? So why can't you get a business loan? Why isn't it so simple? Why am I having a hard time trying to debt consolidate, refinance? There's so many why, and if this, then that, like a hypothesize, a solution where we look at a scientific experiment. It's almost what it feels like. And I remember as far back in school loving to do those types of experiments. But away from that, what you should know, it's not necessarily always about the actual logical components like the credit, the revenue, or the collateral. There's something deeper, and that's where I want to begin. And I made a video on this that I'll link you guys to if you're watching on YouTube, hopefully in the description. And if you're watching this on TikTok, you guys can check out in the bio for more resources. So what I discussed is, on a deeper level, it's you who's getting in the way. So this is a reality check. This is just tough love, not aggression, not negative for me. But at the core, the nucleus here, what gets in the way is you. So I've dealt with a lot of people who are looking for business funding, and you're not necessarily coming to me like with the happiest attitude. I can understand that. You're probably asking, well, what do you expect? I don't want to get a business loan. I don't even want to get funding, but I have to. It's like going to the ER perhaps, or not maybe to that extent. Some people, yes, but you're going in for a checkup. And you have to listen to what the nurse, what the doctor is prescribing, what diagnosis they're giving you. They're not always just going to say mask it with these symptoms. Yeah, they might give you some medications. I don't want to get into all that component, but they might give you some things, and it might be just a quick fix. But you have to treat the diagnosis. And when we get into credit right now, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some things on the business credit as well, cash flow, collateral. But what it is, it's you that's getting in the way. And what I mean by that is you have maybe a character flaw, personality trait, and I'm not attacking you. That's not what this is. This is just tough love. If you've been around and you've received help from me, you know where I'm going with this. And you could attest to that. What I mean is you're letting, maybe you have an ego get in the way, you're stubborn, arrogant, cocky. Maybe there is just something, a bad attitude. Maybe it's just a day, but some of the things you do are not acceptable. And so you have to put yourself in my shoes, in how I would feel if somebody came to me. I'm a professional. I'm very punctual and disciplined. I'm sure you're doing everything in your business. I've been there, done that. I've been the business operation guy. I've done everything. I was wearing multiple hats, and I still do with some things. But you have to stop that attitude. And it stops when you come to the door, you put your feet down, you take your shoes off, if that's what is asked for. If not, it's okay. There are some other things. But you're underneath my home that I'm welcoming you in. You're a guest of mine. I'm hosting you. I'll take care of you in every way. Personally, human, in business, I care. But the thing is, if you're just going all over the place, we got to put a stop to that. And most business owners, they don't really realize what they're doing in the moment. And then later on, they come back and go, oh, I apologize. Or I get it. You're underneath a lot of stress. You need to keep your business afloat. You're growing and expanding. Maybe you're just fine. You're like, Michael, I'm fine. But look at me. I'm doing, don't be that person. Don't be cocky. Don't be like that. And so what it comes down to is Fundamentally, the person, the individual looking for funding is having trouble with themselves. And I've been there. I literally have been there. My business didn't generate money for 6 months, closer to a year. I have a story on that. I'll leave you guys my story down below to learn more if it goes into that part, and a lot. But what it is, again, I know it sounds like, come on, Michael, you're telling me that I'm getting in my way? Yeah, you are getting in your way, Mr. or Mrs. Over 80% of people get in their own way. And I can tell. I like to work with people of all shapes and sizes, backgrounds, doesn't matter to me. And if I have to work with you to help you in self-development, I will. I've done that myself already as an entrepreneur, business owner. But what happens is you're letting little things like that get into the application. So I already know, before you've even said a word, how this is going. I already know what the application process could be like. It could be different. You could prove me wrong. But don't tell me different, because I know that if you're acting like that already, I already know what this is going to reveal. And you may be just compliant and maybe just like hassle-free, no friction, no resistance. That's good. That's what I want. So let's go away from that component. There's a lot of content that I've already created on that. I can go into that for hours. I've already done it in the past. It's a part of some of my videos, and I'll go into the comments in a moment. Not specifically who, but everybody in general who has those types of issues. I'm not saying that one person specifically. So now, away from that, let's go into the credit, cash flow, collateral. Why can't you get a business loan of any magnitude? I've tried time and time again. I need you to help me survive in my business, and I will be publishing this video on the YouTube channel soon. I did it here on TikTok the other day about trying to get funding for survival purposes. So that'll come out in some time. But the reason why you are not is because you're not optimizing your 3 parts. Again, that's credit, or you can say cash flow, credit, collateral, the 3 C's of funding and being fundable. And what that means is you got to sharpen up even your industry standards, your NICS code. Are you in a very high risk industry? Should you even put that name on your website? You're doing business as, your domain name. Do you have your LLC? Did you structure it correctly? Did you have your EIN? Did you have all these other things that you needed? And I'm not going to go into the step-by-step. I have business credit building stuff if you guys need to learn more about that, as well as the A to Z Business Funding Mastery Academy course. This, guys, is no joke. I'm telling you guys that I spent a lot of time on this because a lot of you do need it. Don't tell me you don't, because I know you do. And so what I want to say is, if you don't have the cash flow, meaning, well, one thing it's saying that I have enough money circulating in my business that I can reuse for anything that I need to. And it's another thing to say, hey, I had enough. I put more money in, but then I took more money out than I did. And so you're not able to, it's going out as fast as you can put the money in. So be very careful. Try to understand how to keep cash flow. And there might be, I'm not going to get into a whole topic on that right now. I know how to do these things. I've done it for myself and other businesses. But if you don't have the bank statements, the revenue, maybe we ask for a tax return or multiple. If we ask for a little bit more in financials, depending on the service we're asking for, like equipment financing, we may ask for a little bit more. On a term loan / line of credit, more of a term loan intermix with an advance, we may ask for a business tax return and year-to-date profit and loss and balance sheet, AR/AP report, if need be, depending on the amount you're seeking. So if you're looking for more than $150,000, if you're capable of getting that too, then we may ask for those returns. I'll go to the comments, guys. Please stick with me. Don't be that person who just comments and says, well, you didn't respond back. Don't act like that. And so I'm going to end the video here shortly, but that's a quick lesson now on cash flow. I can go deeper into that, but it's just primarily understanding your bank statements, understanding your revenue, that how much you're depositing in your business per month, how many times are you depositing for sure. Frequency of deposits matters. I have a business owner right now. I'm not going to talk about who they are and all that, but as an example, they told me they're decreasing revenue in January. Now, that's between me and them. And so when I know that, and I know the other past months were higher, they just hit a certain part of the season and what they need funding for, I can understand. Now, with their lowest month being the most recent, we're in February now. We're going to look at least 3 months of bank statements. We'll look at January, December, then November. And when I look at this stuff myself, before I send it over to the underwriter and we look at it all, I'm going to look at it and go, how much have you been depositing with that amount of revenue you did for your most recent January month? I know it was lower than the others, but I want to also see all transactions. I want to see what kind of credits, what kind of debits, what's all there. and that's going to give me a clear picture. Now, deposits and revenue are two different things. So we usually look at the lowest month in the last 3 months. We can also take the average, see if they're close enough. And we can give you kind of an approximate range, and maybe if you had a slower month. But we see your consistency. We'll be a little bit more flexible. It's just harder to with certain businesses. Now, that's the cash flow. I can go deeper as long as I can on that. I know this field like the back of my head. I don't know if that makes sense, but number 2, credit. Credit is where you have personal credit. Simple. Let's start there. Everybody knows about having utilization. You have to have this much history or 20% of this, 10%. I'm not going to get into each ratio on what makes up each one of those accounts and each part of your FICO and what the lenders look at. But what I will say is, if you haven't optimized your credit, you can still get funding using credit, but if it's not highly optimized, like lower utilization, lower debt to income, you want to have all of that as least as possible, and you can leverage just your personal credit aside from your cash flow. It doesn't have to be cash flow and credit. It can be just credit alone. Right now, this person literally, if you know who you are, you sent me a text message earlier. We spoke yesterday. They actually needed a phone call, so I actually took the time to do that. It's not always like I will. My processes, my systems and automation are different than everybody else's. So you have the best. When you speak with me, take that as like, I better know what I'm saying. And if you get 5 minutes, make the most 5 minutes ever and make it productive, because I get busy too. And sometimes I say, I'll give you more time, and it's deserving of it. And is it a time for me to do this after you saw an email like today? I got a response last night, actually, about 12 o'clock their time, I think it was. 9 o'clock my time. I received an email. It looks like they responded back to my email where I sent them the questionnaire response. So it shows me that they had seen that. Now it's another question if they actually went through it. I'll find out. They want to get me on a call. That is more of a deserving call. It looks like they looked at that. So I'm going to take the time to. Maybe it's just for clarity. I told them on the email. If it's for clarity reasons and it's for a few things maybe that you have questions about that weren't answered, usually they're answered, then it makes sense to. So it's a quick 1 to 2 phone call. Hey, Michael, I just saw that option you listed and just wanted to make sure that was the right one and hear your voice. You guys aren't understanding where I'm going with this, is there's a questionnaire form down below in the description or in the bio. Everybody does this, by the way. Don't be anything different. Don't try to be a superhero. And you can stand out from everybody else. That's fine with me. I know who stands out. I know who's just a creeper. I know who's just there, just lurking in the back and like just hides. I know who is Casper the Unfriendly Ghost. I know who is Homer Simpson, the meme going back in the bushes when something doesn't suit them, like they're Mr. or Mrs. High Priority or Mr. or Mrs. I deserve it all. You're not entitled to things. You got to earn them. Even in this space, you have to earn them. And I've earned every keep that I have, and I go out of my way hard for you guys to do all the work as a broker. You guys don't see what I do on my back end. If I were to show you guys, I mean, a lot of it is confidential. It would be like, well, he does do all that. And so that's what you guys want to fill out. Fill out the questionnaire. If TikTok is weird, they don't show me the link. I don't know why they do this. They've done it to other people. I didn't do anything wrong, I believe, but it's just how they act. And so what I would recommend is going to my site if you're watching this on TikTok. If you're in the YouTube channel, later on, replay down below, description. But viralfundingsolutions.com. You can even just type in my name and it'll bring you up other listings as well because I have other businesses. But you can type in my name, which is Michael, first name, and then last name Granados. So Granados, and verify who I am. Go ahead and do that. It's fine with me. You'll even see a picture of me where I was once a Division I soccer athlete. So you'll see like a bright smile, I guess I think it is, back in the days. But that was a long time ago. That was another leaf off the tree. But anyways, fill that out and I will be able to get in touch with you. So we just spoke about credit. If you have an optimized cash flow credit profile with, I would say in this market, if you're looking to get some type of a term loan or an installment loan is another word for it. You can kind of say that between 1 to 5, sometimes 5 to 7 years if we can get you enough. I would recommend going for at least a 680 personal credit score. And this is optimizing. Guys, this isn't like, well, I got a 620, I can't get it. Well, you can get it. What do you need to do? I got to look at things with you on your credit, perhaps. If there's a soft pull initially, if you want me to look at it, I can. Sometimes I ask for the report, other times I won't. See, here we go. Here's one person. Let me move up here to satisfy you guys. Like I said, I'm going into the 3. This is a lesson for you guys to understand. If you have the time and energy to, please just stick around. If you don't, come back and watch it later. There's no hard feelings. And if you guys are like that, that's just what it is. And so let me come up here. Let me move up to this point. You've been trying to get working capital using your title, got it, to my truck as collateral. Okay, now, I actually have a few individuals to reach back about that, so I apologize if you're in here or you're watching later and I haven't done that. I've been flooded and had a dental appointment at 10. But you cannot always use your own title, however many titles you have on those trucks, as collateral. You got to understand the appreciation in the market. Whether it is appreciating or not, it's just harder to sell for the lender to make their money back. That equipment is going to be sitting, like, think about it as inventory, sitting on the shelf, collecting dust. Right now, yeah, there's a large demand, less of a supply, but in the market for what you want to give, if it's newer equipment, yeah, they might look at it better, and it's totaling over like 500,000, like a total over, but it's harder at that point. It has to be heavier machinery. Like, I'm not gonna say the word CNC machine, but there's a lot of things out there that are heavier machinery that you want to get into, and that would be more predictable to look at and actually gather. If it's used, it's not necessarily going to be turned down, but if it's older equipment, whether it's rentable or not, it's going to be harder, because in that market, the cost, the liquidation value, think about it, that's what they look at. Quick tip, I've done this, I've been there. So there's a lot of these appraisals and there's a lot of these auctions, there's a lot of liquidation value. So liquidation value is what determines how much you can actually get funding for that equipment or other forms. So if it liquidates, you say, well, I have it worth 800,000, but liquidation value and everything considered at an auction and what people are buying for and what they're, raising their hand for and saying this is what I'll get it for, you might be only able to get 300,000 out of that. You got to understand the market, and if you don't have certain revenue or certain other obligations, it'll be harder to do other alternatives. So you can have titles, but you can put that in, like, an SBA loan is more convincible. A more bank loan is more convincible to take that equipment, if that makes sense. That's why you don't always get somebody who's going to take the equipment. There is a way where we can hold on to that equipment and lend you a different piece, or do it in another way where we can do that. There's some sales leaseback situations. There's a few options. If that's not it, there is an alternative out there, and I'm going to help you with it. Now let me move up here. Your credit is bad, but you added your brother, good, a guarantor, a cosigner, as a member of your LLC. Got it. In partnership now. He has a 750. Would that work? Absolutely. 120%. That works any time of the day. Joint account or whatever if it's that or not. But if you are associated now with their credit profile, that'll transfer over to certain degrees for you. And then you can leverage his and your personal credit, and because you're underneath his, and then be able to go ahead and go for that. Now we have to see the ownership percentage, of course. That's what we're looking at here, and just view the two on the application. And I know it's underneath one, but sometimes we have to list a few. In some instances, it's just one though. So it just depends on the service and where we're putting in an application. But yeah, that's definitely what I would do. For those of you in here with new music saying what he said with his 750 with his brother, I would do that if I were you. And you're in a pinch and you're like, well, I want to qualify for business credit cards, an installment loan. You can probably go get a personal loan if you wanted to. Of course, we have to see a few other things. Personal loan, business credit cards in the form of a personal loan being installment loans, lines of credit on the personal side, credit cards, and a few more things in variety that they could be eligible for. So that's what I recommend. Yeah, it's fine with me. Like I said again, I don't ignore you guys. I do this because you guys don't want to cut off my train of thought, do you? Like, put yourself in my shoes. I'm in a train of thought. I'll pause and then come back and make sure I'm getting back to you guys. It's no hard feelings. I didn't feel anything bad about that. With what you said, it didn't affect me. Like in a way where, oh, really? Like it didn't affect me. Some of you guys may have, especially if you haven't been doing any of this. I've been in this industry so long that I know tire kickers. I know the lazy people. I know the no effort seekers. I know the people that just submit something and then never do anything. I know the people that are just energy and time vampires. I know you probably know those people. I've been there before in the past. Now that I see it differently of what I built, it's like I don't do that to people. When you come to me, you come to a professional ecosystem and a culture with me that you are going to understand better. You're going to be like thankful for, and you're going to just be like, yeah, that's the person that I want to work with. And I've been in that position where I worked 9 to 5 and done all that before in the past. And I know, like, if you're just trying to get it, I know. And if you've been there so long ago, we know how difficult those times were. I don't want to get into my full story, but I'll leave that for you guys in the description. Yeah, I appreciate you too. Thank you for the comment and letting me know. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm going to end this video short because I do want to put it up on YouTube soon, and I don't want it to be too long and extensive. I know certain people are like, well, why did you make a video so long? You expect me to watch that? Well, bookmark it, come watch it. Or watch the segments that you feel are best, but the whole video is usually what you need to watch. And people miss out on some things. They just comment back, and I'm like, did you even watch the content? Did you even read the blog post? Did you even read the email that I sent? If you can't even do one little thing like that, what makes me think that you'll be able to go through an application with me without any hassle, without any friction? You got to prove that like micro commitment to me. And that's how you do it. Whether you realize it or not, you're showing a micro commitment to me. And you're saying, okay, I read this or I went through this. Now let's get started. Let's get rocking and rolling. Like today, somebody called me after I texted them and they said, hey, Michael, I'll be getting the application to you by the end of the week. This is my situation. I'm in Texas. There's been snow. I've been snowed out. The banks haven't been open. But once I go in there, get my voided check and whatever I need, I'll come back to the end of the week, get it done. That's it. Simple. They could have sent me a quick text, but they wanted to make sure and reassure that, hey, I'm here. Don't think I'm just some person or some guy just saying something just to say it. Your word is your bond. I spoke to this with my mother the other day. And when I saw her and we had a conversation. I asked her how her work is going. I told her how my position is going and things are going great. And we get into the conversation of like, well, yeah, she says, yeah, your word is your bond. And if you can't stick to your word, that says everything about you. You can't be trusted. Even if you don't say something, you don't do something you're supposed to, you can't be trusted. So whether you think, oh, that's wrong, that's the truth. That's the bottom line. So I'm going to give it about a minute or so and then I will close up shop. I had that dental appointment today. I had a checkup. Green light. I asked questions on if I can have meats, harder meats. Could I start eating like acidic foods in meals? Could I maybe exercise? And they said, I don't see why there would be a problem with that. And I was very happy. Great relationship with the dentist and people there, and got in and out without a hassle. See, when you get prepared for something, you don't have to walk into it all like so stressed out. I get it. With me going to things like that, I'm not going to say I don't have anxiety. We all do, at least to some degree, about things especially. But I walked in there prepared this morning. I walked in there with everything that I needed to. Called me in, sat down, had a lovely conversation with the lady. She looked at my x-ray. She told me that the doctor did a great job, and which was amazing. The dentist comes in, and then we do a quick few things, and I asked a few questions, and he answered them the best of his ability, and I thought he did an amazing job. I got out. That's it. Took no longer than 15 minutes about waiting, and it took about 10 to 15 minutes, so about 30 or so minutes overall, which wasn't bad. And I wasn't there fidgeting. I wasn't there complaining. I actually had to send a few emails while I was sitting in the chair. So why am I saying all this? Just to let you know that I went through a dental implant and everything's been good. What happened last week. Towards last week, Wednesday. But, okay, no more questions. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is why you can't get a business loan. And it isn't because always that you don't have the cash flow, the credit, collateral. You may not have that. Okay, and if I didn't say that, you may not have all that. And we have to optimize your profile to get you at least something with the credit-based program. If there's not enough revenue, the collateral isn't there, not sufficient, not the type, not what you want to give up. And maybe there's a guarantor, a co-signer, something you do to then get a credit-based program like a personal loan, an installment loan during that, or slash a term loan, sometimes as they're named, line of credit, credit cards. And you got to build up and then start working your business credit profile and start establishing that. Don't let it go. But a lot of it, if you don't have those three, we got to work on it. One of the three usually you have. We can work on optimizing that more if you need to. If you don't have it yet, for what we're trying to do, if we need to just get funding and we can do it right away, we could, and then work on still optimizing that after. I work with people a lot after. You just don't get the funding and just say, I just disappeared. That's not what happens. You have a great relationship. You have an in the door. But that's that component. And it falls back to, like I was saying earlier, yourself. It falls back to, it's something that we don't think about often. I didn't think about it often when I was applying to things back in the days, but it does hinder us when we allow ourselves to get in the way. It could be an ego thing. It could be a personality trait that you're just lacking, and it's okay. I'm not judging you. I'm not like bashing you. It's just what I know and what I've worked on myself in my businesses. And so sometimes you're the person doing everything and you don't have time for those. I get it, Michael. I don't have time for that. When you do step away and you just look into the business from the outside in, not always on the inside, then you'll finally take some time and a breathing room to at least look at developing even better into that person you need to become, because it also helps you as a person. And being that person who has that patience, being that person who has those great relationships, their wealth, their health, their relationships, they work on themselves, transitioning into then, hey, I met this Michael guy. Now I'm at where I want. Great. Now I'm going to be patient. I understand his process, his systems, the way he automates things and how he gets in touch with me. So I'm going to be looking out for something. Boom, I see it. It came through. No questions asked. Ready to get started. Let's go ahead. Click. Boom. Done. Get started. Submitted. Feedback. You get it. Boom. Offer stage. Does it make sense? I'll communicate it with you. Hassle free. I don't pressure you. Boom. Offer taken. Yes. Simple. Okay. Good to go. Boom. That's it. I know how that sounds, but take some time. And I might leave some books or stuff down below if not, it's okay. But we all got to work on strengthening this, and not just our reputation in our business, on how our business employees look at us and what our brand image is. And we work so much on the sales flow and the processes, and we forget about the character that drives that, the character that fundamentally needs to develop to become the person in that business, to become the person who then applies for that funding, who then becomes that business owner truly once and for all, and then moves out, and it just circulates over and over. That is everything from me. Let me look one more time into the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for the follow and the likes. And a few things there that I may have missed. I don't think so. But okay. Description, bio to get started. And I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care. Bye.